Ayo! And what is up, gang? Thank you so much for joining me here again tonight on the channel. It is Tuesday, October the 3rd, 2017, and we head back to Denver, Colorado for this week's edition of SmackDown Live, the go-home show for Hell in a Cell coming this Sunday. And I feel like I was put through Hell in a Cell after this retarded show tonight. And we are going to talk about it right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of the YouTube wrestling community, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do this.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me here again. My name is Nick Nightmare. This, as always, is the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones Blue, the Snowball, and we are here to bring you our coverage of SmackDown Live from Denver, Colorado, leading us into this weekend's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And what the hell was this show? What was this show? Who wrote this and thought, hey, you know what? This is a good show. This was not a good show. This show was definitely not glorious, even though we had an appearance by the Glorious One himself. In and of itself, that appearance alone was absolutely wasted. And we will get into that a little bit later on. Before we get into the review, as always, I need to pinpoint a few glaring issues that I take with tonight's episode, and this first little part we're going to talk about echoes my sentiments from last week as well. So if you watched last week's SmackDown Live review, this might be a little bit of a repeat segment for you, but I can't say this enough because I feel like it's important, and I just don't understand, and I don't see the thought process in the people writing this stuff when they say, let's not have AJ wrestle tonight. Why isn't AJ Styles wrestling anymore? Why? I feel like I haven't seen the man wrestle in months. I know it was probably legitimately maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4. I've lost count. The fact of the matter is, the greatest wrestler in the world, perhaps arguably the best wrestler you have on the roster, the guy who should be walking around holding the World Heavyweight Championship, not Jinder Mahal, is being booked week in and week out doing nothing but sitting around and talking. Do you think AJ Styles came to the WWE to sit around and talk? Do you think he wants to do promo segments on the Titantron? You think he wants to sit next to Tom Phillips and Corey Graves and Byron Saxton? You think that's what he wants to do every week? No, it's not what he wants to do. He wants to get out there and wrestle. All the garbage you threw out there tonight, we couldn't have had a US Open challenge and not have Baron Corbin interfere and not have Ty Dillinger get involved. Let him do what he's supposed to do with something such as that. The US Open challenge has not been openly contested in weeks since he's actually started it. He's had a heads up every week. Oh, next week, Ty Dillinger, I'm going to do it. And then the following week, oh, next week, Baron Corbin, I'm going to do it. You know, that's not the point. The point is AJ is supposed to come out there, talk about how great it is to be the United States champion, and then say, I give a shot to anybody in the back. And then he could even say anybody that hasn't had a shot before. And then you could have had maybe Bobby Roode come out and give him a run for his money. I know that's a money match and we might not want to do it on free TV, but for what I got tonight, I'm starving for some good wrestling produced by the WWE. Every single match tonight, I don't think went more than 4 or 5 minutes. And if it did, we got treated to the picture-in-picture during the commercial break. Before we go off a tangent on the commercials and all that shit, why isn't AJ Styles being booked to wrestle? That is the biggest problem I could see on SmackDown Live right now. You've had your top guy not wrestling on your show consistently, and that's a problem. Not just for me, but for all of us. And probably for AJ as well. Aside from that, I also don't understand why we are booking Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens like it's the biggest match of all time. Granted, I have a slightly more increased interest than I had when they first announced this thing. But in the end, this is the commissioner going up against one of his random employees. Not that Kevin Owens is random, but you literally could put anybody in this position and it would make absolutely no difference. None. I'm sorry. If you're feeling this and you enjoyed this and you were one of those people in the crowd in Denver who were really into this bad show, by the way, that were chanting, "This is awesome," at the end of the night, what was awesome? I need somebody to tell me what was awesome. That they were walking through the crowd? Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon at the end of the night had a little brawl backstage? You didn't chant, "This was awesome" during that. You chanted, "This was awesome" after Kevin Owens just threw Shane McMahon over the announce table. He didn't even break the table in that instance. You're chanting "This is awesome" for him throwing him around. What was awesome? Was that whole segment awesome? No. It was long. It was drawn out. We ended another show with a lot of talking. Yes, there was some action, but I would like to see some wrestling, please. This is World Wrestling Entertainment. I know we're entertainment, but the middle word, the big letter that it is a W for wrestling. It's not a giant E. They don't have it sideways so that you can see a big ass E. It's a big W for wrestling. Where is the wrestling? I don't understand it. Let's get into this review before I get too hot and keep spouting off, and let's get into this friggin' show. This go-home show for Hell in a Cell, and I can't wait for this whole entire part of SmackDown and everything that's been going on in the WWE to go home. I need everybody that's working there right now to go the hell home. And let another generation and a bunch of new fresh blood with some real new creative ideas get in there and give us some real wrestling. And let these guys go out there and wrestle. Don't load me with bullshit and talking and promo and Susan G. Komen segments and this and that, but you're not giving us wrestling. That's why we're watching. You can forgive a Susan G. Komen segment, not that I'm against it. It's just, where's the wrestling? You have Dana Warrior in there with these women, and it's great, but you're taking up all this TV time. This is a segment that could have been done at the beginning of the show, right before the show, exclusive to WWE.com. Break in after a commercial, show us what you did during commercial then. During the commercial while you were away, we had the Susan G. Komen, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about it all night. It's great. Bring the exposure. It's great. And I wouldn't mind as much if I got some nice 10, 15-minute matches, some great classic encounters with some top-notch wrestling talent. Everything else just seems like a drag. It makes everything just drag and feel so bad, where you should be inspired and feel uplifted during this little segment that they had for the Susan G. Komen women. But you don't, because it's just been such a chore to get to 9 o'clock, even during a 2-hour show. It's like, oh God, now I gotta watch this. Great for them. Congratulations. Can we move this along, please? That's what I want. I just want wrestling from my wrestling show. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everything else can come. You could shorten everything else. It's not needed. What's needed is some damn wrestling. Case in point, this whole show starts off with an interview segment. We had the lovely and beautiful Renee Young in the middle of the ring, and she had Shinsuke Nakamura come out to do an interview. He pulled off a couple of lines in English, and then you had the Sing Midgets come out. And what did you think was going to happen? Exactly what I thought was going to happen. They announced the modern day Maharaja, and out he comes from the crowd, ambushing Nakamura, making him look foolish again, giving Jinder Mahal, the Roid Rage reject, the upper hand in this, going into Hell in a Cell. All I could think of is, if Shinsuke does not win this match, I would leave. I would leave. I would seriously ask for my release and be like, you did all this with me, and then you put me in this cage with this jerk, and you didn't even give me the belt? You allowed him to make me look like a fool, and then you don't even give me the belt? Because the reports are stating that Jinder Mahal is going to be champion until the Royal Rumble. So the signs are not very good. It doesn't point in the right direction at all. If you want to believe what you're reading online, which I always take everything with a pinch of salt, as should you guys. But if that's what happens, and Jinder Mahal wins the Hell in a Cell match, if I was Shinsuke Nakamura, I'd pack my bags and head back home to New Japan and play with the big boys who know how to throw a wrestling show and allow matches to actually flesh out and, become something. Not just 2 and 3 minute interval segments. It's like the wrestling is the filler. Let's get the wrestling over with so we can get to the next highlight package or the next promo package. After this whole thing with Shinsuke and Jinder, we were treated, and I use that term loosely, to a women's tag team matchup. Charlotte and Becky, the besties, versus Natalya, the women's champion, and Carmella, the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. A team that makes 0 sense. Why would the Money in the Bank briefcase holder allow herself to be aligned with the champion? Again, we've done this already between the two of them. And then we have a segment with Natalya telling her, you better not cash in your Money in the Bank, you better not. Or else there's going to be hell to pay from Natalya. Really? And that's enough to ward her off and scare her away from using the Money in the Bank? And let's take a moment to address the fact that James Ellsworth is a dog. How much money are they giving this chinless moron that he's allowing himself to be put on national television for his mom to see? If he's married, I don't know who would love a face like that, but he's got to have a girlfriend, or some people in this world love James Ellsworth. And I'm sure they're very proud of his accomplishments up until this night. How do you allow yourself to be viewed in that light, with the dog collar on, being led around on a leash, barking, being talked to in commands by Carmella? Sit, stay, heel, James. Are you fucking kidding me? You couldn't pay me enough money. I don't care who you are, what company you are, and what you work for, or what we're doing, that I would allow that to happen to me. Even if we were writing a comedy, I'd be like, you know what, I think I'm going to draw the line at barking like a dog while being led around on a leash by a hot broad. I'm not going to do that. That's degrading. Nobody's going to say anything about that, right? There's no friggin' men's groups because we don't give a shit. Right? We just say, hey, that's fucking stupid. I would never do that. I would never do that. And I don't know why he would as well. He's got to have some shred of dignity. Just a little bit. Apparently not. Woof. James Ellsworth fucking woofed on SmackDown Live tonight. This match was not actually that bad. It was very short. And we did have the picture-in-picture moment with this as well. And then as soon as we came back from commercial, this match was over. You had Carmella on the outside hit Becky Lynch with the Money in the Bank briefcase, which shouldn't that be a disqualification of some sort? But I think the referee, as was being tied up by Natalya, who was in the ropes, Charlotte seen it. It drew her attention away, which allowed Natalya to lock her in the sharpshooter and gets Charlotte to tap out for the win. Little sidebar, Natalya does a very beautiful sharpshooter. Out of everybody in the business today that tries to apply that move, she does it the absolute best. Maybe it's a genetic thing. Maybe it's because she's been in this business for so long, she's a veteran. But, so is Cesaro. So is some of these guys, and Tyson Kidd. Like, anybody that has any kind of relationship to the Heart Dungeon always tries to do that move. Sting does the Scorpion Deathlock, which is a variation of that move. And it never really looked pretty once he got over the age of 40. And nobody does the sharpshooter very well. But Natalya's sharpshooter was very, very crisp. And it's impressive to see it the way Brett used to do it. She really sinks it in, and she's got the lock in right. The legs are correct. And, two claps for Natalya there. Otherwise, this was just your standard BS match. It meant nothing. Natalya and Carmella win. And there you go. That was the first match of the night. We then had a highlight package that went on seemingly longer than the match that we just watched, uninterrupted by commercial break, of course, that highlighted Owens versus McMahon. That went way back to when Kevin Owens was in his first run as the face, the new face of America, when he had his first U.S. Championship run upon coming to SmackDown Live from Raw. And it was very good. As we say all the time, the promo package team that puts these things together, between the music they use and the way they cut it and the editing and the scenes that they use, they make this stuff seem like it's 1,001 times better than what we actually have to sit through. And it almost makes me want to just watch promos, always. Like, let's not watch the show, let's just watch the lead-in package right before every pay-per-view match, and you'll be good. So all you really need to watch is every pay-per-view. You'll get all the information you need, and it will be better than everything you've seen over the last month, and it'll be compressed into a nice, nifty, very entertaining 2.5 to 3 minute segment. And I enjoyed it. But we don't watch wrestling to watch promo segments, like we said at the beginning. What do we watch it for, everybody? The big ass W stands for what? Thank you very much. We had the glorious appearance of Bobby Roode. Now, as happy as I am every time I get to see Bobby Roode, what is the deal with Mike Kanellis? He is a guy that has not been on TV for months. We just recently hear last week that him and his wife Maria are expecting their first child. This guy is on the road to recovery from prescription drug addiction. And the WWE is in Denver, which I think might be his hometown, or for some reason he was in Denver. Maybe he was just there to be on Raw. Why you would call this guy now to be in a match is beyond me. But never mind being a match. Let's imagine how this went down. Hey, Mr. Bennett, I'm sorry, Mr. Mike Kanellis, do us a favor. Can you come to SmackDown? Because we need somebody to lose to Bobby Roode in 2 minutes. Why would he say yes to that? Obviously he did. But I don't understand it. A guy that should be looked upon at the same level as almost Bobby Roode. Mike Bennett is a great wrestler. The Miracle Mike Bennett, if you didn't watch TNA like I unfortunately do, I torture myself and watch as much wrestling as possible, and TNA is very easy access, and I was able to watch as Mike Bennett and Maria made their, triumphant return to the pro wrestling business in TNA. They were one of the few things, besides Eli Drake and the Hardy Boys, that I was actually watching and cared about at the time. This guy's got tremendous upside. He's got huge potential. And are you still punishing him for his, failed drug test or whatever the case may be? Are you punishing him for cleaning up his life? Are you punishing him for being a new dad? For not allowing Maria to be on TV? What was this match for him? This whole match was useless. You didn't need this match. You could have had Bobby come out and just start talking trash on Dolph Ziggler, and then Dolph could have came out and bored us all to fucking tears the way he did. I don't understand that part of it either. Bobby Roode wins with a glorious DDT. Surprise! In about 2, maybe 3 minutes tops. Maybe I'm underselling it. Maybe it was 3 minutes. Nothing to even talk about at all. Terrible showing and terrible thing to do to Mike Kanellis, I think. I don't like it. And we got Ziggler coming out. And he's going to try out some entrances for Sunday, right? And the first one's not even an entrance. He just has a police siren go off in the arena. And at first I'm waiting for like a hook to drop or something to happen. But it was nothing. It was just a police siren. And it made me very confused. And then he goes, wait a minute, I got something. Then he brings out one of them big-ass drums that, a band leader or, in a high school marching band, and you're doing this, boom, boom, boom. What the hell was that? Not what I was doing, even though that was probably very entertaining and very cool. But what the hell was he doing? I don't understand it. Bored me to absolute tears. Then he gets in the ring and he's like, oh, do you like me now? And he's doing his whole thing, right? Nobody gives a shit. I certainly didn't. I know you guys didn't. You can tell me if you agree with me in the comment section below. As you know, it's all yours. But in the end, he tells Bobby Roode that you're just an entrance, bro. And that Sunday I'm going to bring the best entrance in the world, right? Who cares? So he decides to leave, and then Bobby's like, hey, Dolph, wait, why are you leaving, bro? You're not doing it right, man. I'm going to show you right now how to do it right. And he gets and starts doing his whole thing here, and then he gets the hands up, and it was glorious. And they hit the music, and that was it. That was it. Why? It wasn't needed at all. It did nothing to further anything. Not one of these three guys gained any momentum in any way. Bobby Roode's momentum is through the roof. He's not going to gain anything from this segment, except a little bit of exposure. And that's it. But the whole thing with him and Mike Kanellis having that 2-minute glorified squash match, get out of here with that. I'm done. And apparently so is Mike Kanellis, I guess. The best part of the night, for me anyway, came in this next segment. We had the Usos come out, and they cut an absolutely passionate and fired up promo, something that you don't see very much of. And I know I've been down on the promos because I want to see some wrestling, but this promo was fire. Absolutely. They came out doing their whole shtick. You know, we've been here, we're the ones putting in the work, down since day one, and we are going to be 5-time champions come this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. What I did there, there's no justice to. They absolutely killed it on the mics. You know, they're not here to sell merchandise. It's a way of life. And the way that they were, it was just so impassioned that it made you go, damn, I want to be an Oos, man. I want to be with Team Oos. And then the New Day came out, and I was like, uh-oh, things are about to get a little weird, right? And they addressed the crowd by saying, you know, normally, what Kofi Kingston says, we come out here and we make jokes, you know? But we're not going to make jokes this time. And they were actually very serious, and this whole segment took a turn and a tone that just drew me in. The New Day, giving credit where credit's due, Big E coming right out and saying, listen, it doesn't matter whether we were wrestling in front of nobody, if we were on the pre-show, or we were main eventing the show, we tore the house down everywhere we've gone. So at Hell in a Cell, we expect to do the same. It was an absolutely killer segment. One of my favorite lines, though, is when Kofi Kingston, I believe it was, said, you know, we are going to leave you guys in a puddle of your own day one-ish. It was just very, very fired me up, man. It was absolutely great. No matter what happens in the end, I really just hope that this is the end, because there's not much more we're going to be able to get out of this feud. We've seen them wrestle a bunch of times. Now it's hit its apex, and the Hell in a Cell is a great way to blow it off. I expect that match to steal the show, especially with the way I've seen these guys tonight, the fire in their eyes, and the way they delivered their stuff tonight. They're going to go out to burn it down at Hell in a Cell, trust me. We would have Jinder come and say some shit, but I didn't listen to it. I fast-forwarded right through it. I don't know what he said. If you want to know for yourself, go check it out. Then they announced that the Fashion Files were going to not return tonight as promised, but they will be returning Sunday at Hell in a Cell. Why? Who knows? They've been doing this. You know, this is not the first time that they've just pushed something back with no explanation. Maybe these guys couldn't get to Denver. Maybe Tyler Breeze was stuck doing a fashion shoot somewhere. Maybe Fandango went to Dancing with the Stars or some shit. Who knows, right? They weren't there for us to see. If they were in the back eating lunch with the guys in catering, then, you know, that's on them. But we'll see Sunday what this new Fashion Files return will finally be. Hopefully, the wait is and the anticipation is rewarded with a good payoff of some sort. Things get really bad for me now as we have Corbin versus Dillinger again. And I don't understand the point of this match. There's no stakes of this match. And this is another instance where this match was over in about 5 minutes. 3 of those 5 minutes, we were stuck in the picture-in-picture commercial break, right? So there's obviously nothing of importance going on in this match. The biggest thing to happen in this match is Ty Dillinger would end up catching Baron Corbin snoozing as he was going to take him up in a suplex and catch him in a roll-up and flash pinfall. Ty Dillinger wins this match, making the guy that's going into the match this Sunday look like an absolute turd muffin. Why would they do this to him leading into this match that's supposed to be a championship title match? You made the challenger look like even worse trash, and I don't know how that's even possible. But this guy was in firm control of the whole entire match. He did one thing that impressed me that I hadn't seen before, where they were outside the ring, and he suplexed Ty Dillinger up, and Dillinger's legs got caught on the top rope, and he was kind of strung up, Tree of Woe style, upside down, hanging on the ropes. It was kind of weird. I never seen it before. And then he would follow up with a nice stiff shot to the midsection, taking Ty Dillinger off the ropes. It was just interesting. It was something I never seen before. I thought, oh, hey, that's kind of cool. I'm glad they came back to commercial in time for me to see it. Oh my God. In this whole match, like I said, Ty Dillinger wins this thing. Wasn't even about this match. It was about AJ Styles is going to have something to say when this match is over. Tom Phillips even said it about 30 seconds before the match concluded. They're like, oh, don't forget, because they had to get it in because, we're running out of time. We got to get it fast because we got this match got to be over soon, right? So he's like, oh, don't forget, we're going to have AJ Styles after the match with his comments. Comments? Why isn't he having a match tonight? We're not going to go back into that. Anyway, AJ Styles comes on screen. He calls Baron Corbin a jackass. Right? He's got some interesting things to say. He says, I got where I am by pushing myself. Nothing is handed to you here in the WWE. And maybe if you pushed yourself, you would have beat John Cena. Maybe you still have the Money in the Bank contract. Maybe you would have beat Ty Dillinger tonight. But that's not what you do. You throw tantrums. And your tantrums are starting to get in my way. And at Hell in a Cell, taking shortcuts aren't going to work on me. It's going to make your opportunities get cut short. It was a nice little ditty he had to say. I'm not mad that he spoke. I'm not mad that we got to see him at least in some capacity and that he's not being not used at all. But goddamn, I want to see him wrestle. Let's go. Let's get this moving. Then came the Susan G. Komen segment. After that, we had another match, if you want to call it that, but it's my favorite part of this show because it's Rusev Day once again, as Rusev would accompany Aiden English to the ring in a match against Randy Orton to try to take vengeance over him stopping his beautiful rendition of It's Rusev Day last week on SmackDown Live, right? So how long did you think this match was going to go? This, of all the matches on the card tonight, is the only match that I would say could go 2 minutes and make sense. Because it's Randy Orton. RKO out of nowhere. Done. Sorry, Aiden English. Thanks for coming. And then Rusev would try to sneak attack Randy Orton, but he would see him coming and end up going down to his little fist pose, right? When he's down on the floor, face to face with Rusev, who never truly got in the ring. And then Rusev starts backing away, telling him, I'm going to get you, because it's Rusev Day. And it's awesome. And that's the awesomest thing about it, is just that it's Rusev Day. Otherwise, this whole segment, again, this match, Randy Orton, Aiden English, what is this? What was this show? Seriously. Shane McMahon begins to make his way to the ring, right, for this main event disaster, right? He gets bumped into by Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's trying to warn Shane McMahon. He's like, listen, Kevin Owens' frame of mind is not right? He snapped a little more than usual. This isn't the usual obnoxious and annoying Kevin Owens. This is a whole different breed of Kevin Owens. Look at what he did to me. I was the best man at his wedding. We were like brothers. He doesn't even like you. What do you think he's going to do to you? Think a little bit. Maybe don't do this, you know? Shane McMahon thanks Sami Zayn for his concerns. Like, listen, I got this. Don't worry about it. Makes his way to the ring. Calls out Kevin Owens. He's like, here I am. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Face to face with you right before Sunday's big Hell in a Cell contest, right? And you're pissing me off so much that we are going to make this Hell in a Cell contest Falls Count Anywhere. Then please, somebody explain to me what is the point of putting them in the cell if they could win the match and not have to be in the cell? Because they want to beat each other senseless all over the arena? Then why book this match as a Hell in a Cell match? Why not just have the Usos and the New Day and be done with it? And let this match be just that, Falls Count Anywhere. And then you announce this, and you have Kevin Owens come out. Let me not jump too far ahead, right? We'll try to remember to come back to that. Kevin Owens would finally come out. First, he didn't come out at all. And then, Shane would keep going and keep going. And finally, Owens would be like, oh, are you looking for me? And he starts coming out from the crowd for some reason. And he's like, here comes the real money, Shane. What do you want, bro? What do you want from me? And Shane's like, oh, apparently you don't know what a face-to-face means. You got to come down here. Owens goes, all right, you know what? I'll be happy to oblige. Starts to make his way down. And then is like, you know what? I don't think so. And then takes off and goes to the back. At this point, I was ready for the show to be over. Because I could not imagine what was going to come next. Not that it was really earth-shattering or made me more interested in what was about to happen. But of course, Shane McMahon would give chase. He would end up all the way in the back into the arena. Kevin Owens would blindside him, end up putting him through a merchandise table. So now, one of the best spots you could have had during this Falls Count Anywhere match, you just gave away on free TV tonight. So why do we care what they're going to do in the backstage now? He would leave him in a pile of t-shirts and garbage and would walk back into the ring, Kevin Owens, and he had a few interesting things to say once again. But the best thing he said was, you think Shane McMahon is having a bad night right now? Wait till you see what I do to him on Sunday. I will powerbomb you till you forget your kids' names. That was really... that was a little zinger right there. I really did enjoy that. And then he goes on to tell him, don't worry about jumping off of the Hell in a Cell, because I'm going to throw you clear off the top of the Hell in a Cell. But the action wouldn't stop. Of course, Shane, beaten and battered and bruised, would struggle his way through the arena again, coming back to the ring. Owens is telling him, stop this. Don't do this. You need to make it to Sunday. Don't do this. Turn around. Go back. Don't make me do this. He ends up making a beeline for Shane McMahon. Back and forth we would go, brawling on the outside, getting it back into the ring. Every single time Kevin Owens would get him down, Shane McMahon would not stay down. This is a 40 plus, maybe 50-something-year-old father of 3, right? Who doesn't wrestle on a constant basis, and he's absorbing everything that the caliber of a Kevin Owens athlete can dish out, and is getting up from super kicks, from crazy stuff. Every single time Owens put him down, Shane would start crawling back, over dramatic, crawling back. And this would keep going on and on and on until finally Kevin Owens would hit him with the pop-up powerbomb, and the show would finally end on that. I just don't... See, now, if you were writing this show, right, and you wanted to really make Jinder Mahal what you want him to be, then this is how you'd be booking him. How you're booking the Owens and Shane stuff. It's main event style writing, like I understand it, it's a decent way to try to go off TV, keep you interested and peaked till next week like we were so hoping for them to do last night, which they failed at. But you're giving all your attention to the wrong storylines. This is the kind of stuff you should be doing with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. This is the kind of stuff that could be getting a guy like Jinder Mahal over. Kevin Owens is over as fuck. He doesn't need to get over. I understand you want to build hype for the match. And this is one of the only matches all year long that has had a sustained build over a truly prolonged period of time. And the fact that I'm complaining about it speaks mainly to the way it's being hyped bigger than everything else. This match is bigger than the World Heavyweight title match. Is that the fault of Jinder Mahal? No, it's the fault of the WWE for putting it on Jinder Mahal and taking the focus off the WWE Heavyweight Championship and putting it all on this Commissioner versus Owens in a Hell in a Cell grudge match to settle a score. Because he lost the United States Championship. Not even because he lost the World Heavyweight Championship. Doesn't equate to me. This definitely was not awesome. So all you goons and all you retards in the arena tonight chanting "this is awesome" at the end of the show, you're the reason why this show sucks. Because you feed their ego. And you feed their pockets. I feed their pockets too, obviously. Who am I to talk? But I don't feed their ego. That's why we're here and that's why we do this on this show. That's your SmackDown Live review, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here with me again tonight. Don't forget, while you're here, if you enjoyed tonight's show, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Let me know that I was awesome. Let me know that you had an awesome time right here on the channel tonight. Also, while you're down there, don't forget, if you are not already a member of the Sledgehammer Club, make sure you punch that subscribe button right in the mouth and then ring-a-ding-ding, the ringside bell right next to the subscribe button so that you will get up to the minute notifications every single time I drop one of these video bombs on you on the channel. And finally, while you're down there, you know what I mean? While you're down there, I'm sorry. Don't forget to check out Clutch Chairs. These guys right here. There is a link in the description below. Just click it. That's all you got to do. Click it. It'll pop up a little page. You can peruse to your heart's content. Check out the AJ Styles chair. See if they have a Kevin Owens chair yet. There's a bunch of great WWE chairs. You don't got to buy one. If you just go look at them, you're helping me out. You support the show. Of course, if you could shell out the cash that they're looking for and you want one of them awesome badass chairs, make sure you do buy one by using the link in the description below. Thank you guys. That is all. My name is Nick Nightmare. This, as always, is Blue the Snowball Microphone. We will be back with you again for more breaking news all week long as it happens. That's gonna do it, and we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Fist bump. I'm out.